Good morning, or afternoon as it may be by this point in time. Today is Wonderful Wednesday, and I am doing this craft from my island table in my kitchen because I have a photo session in about an hour, and I usually use the studio, but the studio is set up for pictures. So this is what we're making today. We're doing our little globe glass that I told you about craft. And you saw in the pictures, these are the glass globes that you would find hanging like with a little chandelier. I bought 3 different styles, and these were purchased at Habitat for Humanity. Today we're going to turn these into planters. So I wanted to first show you the globes. They're super cheap, like usually under $1 at the Habitat. And then you also saw on my treasure hunting video, I found these little glass objects, and by now, if you've read in the comments, they are antique furniture sliders. So these used to go under the feet of chairs, settees, whatever, when they wanted to be able to move the furniture around and not scratch up the floors. So I think that is pretty awesome. If you read in the comments, somebody commented that they use these little dishes on their windowsill and put their rings in them when they're washing dishes, which now I'm going to have to go back and get more because that's a great idea. But for today, these are going to make the bottom of my potter, planter, vessel thing I'm doing, because we cannot, oops, that's the wrong one to show you. We can't really pot, I'm going to use the lights upside down like this, and we can't really pot anything in it with a big hole. So this is going to be the bottom of our potter. I'm calling it potter, planter, or pot. Okay, to do this, you're going to need something to cover this hole. It could be an old saucer. It just depends how big you want the base of your planter to be. And I didn't want mine to be very big because I wanted the planter itself to be more of the showpiece, not what it was on. So I'm using the glass antique floor gliders. The glue you're going to want to use for this is E6000. It comes many ways. It comes in little tiny tubes, and you can get it in giant fat tubes. Mine look pretty rough because I've used them and they're kind of squished. But E6000 is what you want. And pay attention when you buy it. In the corner of the package, it's going to say what color it is. Because believe it or not, you can get it in black. There's a few colors, but you're going to want clear transparent for this purpose. That way when it dries, you don't see any glue globs. E6000 is super sticky, somewhat messy, and it will adhere anything to anything, basically. A little trick for the E6000 that I'm going to tell you is you're going to draw a line or a bead of E6000 right around the base of your pot. Then you're going to go like this, and you're going to make it touch, hold it for a second, pull it apart a little bit. You'll kind of see the glue kind of stretch a little, and then push it back together, hold it for a couple seconds more, pull it out again, and then put it down and leave it alone. There's something, it activates the glue a little more if you make a seal, then separate the seal, and do that a couple of times. I've found over the years, especially when gluing glass things to glass things. So that's how you're going to want to apply it. And it does say leave for 24 hours to dry. I can barely leave anything for 24 hours, but if you are disciplined enough to leave it alone for 24 hours, then go back and plant whatever you're going to put in it, that would be the best way to go. Okay, so I have my E6000, I have my base. I'm going to do my bead of glue all around the edge, and I tend to be fairly liberal with this. This stuff is so sticky. It'll wash off your hands, but you'll be kind of rubbing it off here and there for the rest of the day, at least if you're messy like me. I'm going to go around twice because I want to make sure I have a nice, thick, even line of this glue. And another tip, when you finish squeezing the glue, especially on a fresh tube, it's going to have a tendency to want to keep growing out the end of the tube. Have the cap nearby so you can cap it off real fast, or else you're going to set it down and you're going to have a puddle of E6000 on whatever you set your open tube on. So now it's hard to see because this is the thing I'm using is clear, but I've got my bead of E6000. Take my base and I'm going to do what I told you. I'm going to stick it in there. I'm going to just let it set for just a second. And I'm going to pull it out. See how it stringies out like that? Then I'm going to push it back in for a couple seconds. And I'm going to let it string out. I'm trying to do it high so you can see the strings that come, what I'm talking about. It just kind of activates it. So now I've done that a few times. I'm going to set it down. When you set it down, pay close attention. Make sure you have things centered the way you want them centered, because once you've glued it, especially after the 24-hour mark. So I usually set it down and then spin it around and make sure that I feel like it's nice and even. Okay, we've glued our globe to the base we chose. We're going to leave it sit, maybe for 24 hours, maybe for a few hours. Now I am going to push my, oopsie, I moved it and didn't make sure it was centered when I moved it and it toppled over. You know what, I'm sliding that way out of the way so it doesn't get bumped. And I actually may go back through and put a touch more glue on in a second. Okay, so here's a globe. I wanted all white globes because I wanted it to look a little cohesive, yet I wanted all three to be different because I'm going to sit these out together as like a little grouping of three. So I bought 3 different shapes of globes. I'm going to move this one out of the way. Now, this is where I'm going to press my luck. This was glued this morning. It is pretty sturdy as far as I can tell. I'm going to choose to put succulents in my globe only because my daughter left for school and she didn't have room for all of her succulents, which they're already in cute little pots. But, you know, it wouldn't be DIY if I left them in this. So, this is my gardening tool for today because I'm too lazy to run out to the garage and actually get a little trowel. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to scoop these little dudes out and set them aside, just like so. And then I'm going to put the remaining dirt, and we're going to hope this is enough dirt for it. And FYI, if you're a succulent lover, you know this. If you're not a succulent lover but want to plant succulents, they actually make soil for succulents, which I didn't know that. They make special soil. So this is special soil for the succulents. It's going to get a little messy, but that's all right. Fill up my little globe. Okay, now, this is in a little pot, which I didn't account for. Let me push some of my dirt down. I'm going to take a little out so I have some to put on top. I don't want these to stick out too high. Whoop. In they go. In you go, little babies. Make sure they're in there snug. Oh, it's a good thing I took a little of it out because I think we're going to be perfect and not have to add any. I'm going to push it down a little. I don't know if you're supposed to push succulents down. This is not my area of expertise. I do not have a green thumb. I am going to just put a little dirt around the edges, just because I feel like that's what I need to do. Alright, now my little succulents are in their new home. So here you have it. My little glass globes from the Habitat for Humanity, my antique floor sliders from Antiques and Uniques in Shepherd, I don't remember where it was, Rosebush I believe, or Shepherd, can't remember. And now I have a nice little trio that I can set out somewhere. These are going to sit on like a little charger plate, all 3 of them together, and probably sit on my kitchen table. That's what I'm going to use them for. So that's the end of our quick little craft, our DIY for today. Just a quick reminder, if you're going to use this for a planter, you're going to have to give it the 24-hour dry time, because if you put a plant in and then water it and the water works its way down to the base where the glue is sealing the two pieces together, A, the water is going to mess up the adhesion of that glue, and B, you could have water leaking out of the base, making a mess on your surface that your vase is sitting on. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed Wonderful Wednesday, and watch for a little tease. My cat just bumped into the tripod of my camera. Watch for a little tease about what the next craft is going to be. I'm going to try to do them every Wednesday on Wonderful Wednesday. Have a great day, everybody.